Coach, thanks for your time.
Yes, sir.
Andrew, bat lead off.
Hey, Coach. Chip told us a story the other day about last Friday being kind of a different Friday for the two of you once you learned that Tez was going to play Saturday, that you were sitting down, maybe trying to scribble out a few ways to work him into the game plan. Can you take us through what that was like and how unique was that for you to be in that situation?
We Coach Brown said they were making a decision, and we were sitting in the staff room, watching Thursday's walkthrough, practice, and he came in and said, I called him over. We went to Coach Brown's office. Obviously y'all seen that, and then got out. I took him downstairs, and then we stayed in there for about 2 hours just to catch him back up to speed on what we was planning, for the game plan. But very excited, especially for him. The things that he'd been denied twice, so he was very excited. We were very excited, but we went downstairs and got locked in, and just trying to figure out some of the basic things that he knew, and then just a couple of little wrinkles that we had put in case he was in, that he would know what to do. But very excited when you get a player like Tez's caliber to add to the pieces that we already have.
With respect to Nate's 48-yarder that went down to the 1 yard line the other night, Drake and Mac both said that was the Tez effect on that play. And I just asked Nate about the Tez effect, and he started smiling. So from your perspective, what is the Tez effect, and how does that make that the passing game different?
I mean, just he's a very explosive kid. So, that play, Nate caught, Tez was actually open. So I thought the ball was going to go there, but it was just one of those things. He brings an element, from people that have watched him play from when he was at Kent State. I mean, his speed, his explosiveness, I mean, you have to account for him. So, adding him to the guys that we have, is a blessing for us.
Thank you.
Jeremiah?
Hey, good morning, Lonnie. Just to go off of that, Tez is a guy that you all have had, since the spring, around the fall, as well. So I guess kind of in that process of, getting him ready for that Syracuse game and then actually seeing what he ended up doing on the field, how would you kind of, describe his, transition to, really being out there and getting closer to being out there full time?
The thing for he's been practicing with us. So as far as just, the timing with Drake, those were the things that, you were concerned about a little bit. Obviously he did individual and he would do some routes on air, but all the team stuff. So just timing for him with the whole scheme of things. But, Tez is a hard worker. So, and a smart kid. So he knew what we were going to do. Some things we didn't put him in because he hadn't practiced, just some specialty stuff, but just overall IQ of football is a very high level. So it was, plug and place, and he was locked in. I said it earlier, we worked for about 2 hours, and then I went home, and then we talked for 45 more minutes that night just to, catch up on some plays. And I told him, I said, everything that you drew up, worry about that. Don't go back through the, first couple of weeks of plays, just know these plays. So that's how it all folded out.
Yeah, certainly. And then, you obviously mentioned that he had been practicing, and we know he was with the scout team as well. But I guess in the process of doing that, was that a conversation you had with him, or was that something he approached you about of, continuing to, practice and being part of the scout team?
The thing for him is, I mean, Tez is a team player. So, to go over there, we had a baseline plan for him, and he's like, Coach, I'm going to scout team. I was like, okay, go over there. And then, which is when you can have a guy like him over there helping with going against the DBs, it's huge, because the teams that we play have great receivers. So, that was a big pickup for our defensive guys to be able to have to guard him over there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Adam?
Lonnie, how about an Al Seagraves wishbone question?
Okay.
No, I'm totally joking. I'm playing. I was wondering, you're a guy that is regarded as a great recruiter, and just with Nate and Tez and sort of navigating the portal? Like when you're recruiting a receiver like those guys out of the portal, is it a different approach for you or a different just set of things you're doing as opposed to like a high school kid? Like how did you approach recruiting them out of the portal, I guess?
Just, what we do here, offensively, and the guys that have, since we've been here that I've coached, just sit down and get right down to it. And, obviously coming to the University of North Carolina, you're getting a great degree. Just the setting of itself and, a chance to come and play with Drake. I mean, that was a huge selling point. And, them being around Drake, them coming and hanging out with us and sitting down talking football and just the way we were going to use them in the scheme of the offense. So, it sold itself. Not a lot of people get to go play with a great quarterback, and those two wanted to, and we're happy that they chose us.
And just for you personally, I mean, this has been just with Tez being ineligible and all the appeals, just it's been an ordeal, obviously. For you personally, what was the satisfaction last week when you got the news that it had reversed itself and like all that you've put into this? What was your, I guess, just personal satisfaction of?
I'm just happy for him, just happy for Tez. I mean, that was the biggest satisfaction for me. You think you're going to get to play, you don't. It goes back, they deny it again, so just the ultimate, satisfaction for that kid that he's, able to play last week in front of his family. I'm sure y'all all saw the picture of his family out there with him after the game. So just that part of him getting to enjoy this experience being a North Carolina kid.
Thank you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Luciano?
Hi, Coach. Thanks for your time. Speaking of Drake, the first half of the Syracuse game wasn't even over, and he had already completed passes to 10 different receivers. Obviously, not all of them were wide receivers, but what does that mean for your group, and how important is it that the ball gets distributed that much?
That's just a part of, being in this system to where, Kamari, Bryson, Copenhagen, JJ, Tez, Nate, even little Doc got to play in. So, just being able to having to defend everyone and not, just one guy, being able to key in on one guy. So, and which, keeps everyone happy if they have a chance to touch the football. So, and Drake understands, goes through his reads and who's open, that's where his ball is going to go. And the thing I tell him is, be open on film, when we go back and watch it. I mean, and then, that you're doing your job. If you're open and the ball goes somewhere else, you're doing your job. That's what I'm grading you on.
Awesome. Thanks.
Andrea?
Lonnie, I'm going to ask one more Tez Walker question. Can you just describe what it was like for him for the last month, not thinking he was going to play? I mean, it seemed like it was not going to happen for him until last week, and what your role was in terms of just keeping his head up, considering he thought he wasn't going to get to play this year.
I mean, obviously, just, going through that, for him, just, the ups and downs and, when he first got here in January and, okay, you should be able to be eligible. And then they denied it. And, those processes, for a 20-plus-year-old kid is, I mean, you can only imagine, something that you've been doing and you're thinking you're going to be able to play. So, I mean, just every day checking on them, you okay? The only thing you could control is being able to come to practice, and focus on what you could control and try to have your mind in a good headspace to where I'm out here, I'm getting to practice. No, not yet. I can't play yet, but just, focusing on it and just making sure the guys, in the room, they're, checking on him. He's got a lot of great teammates that, helped in this process to make sure that he was in the right place. His high school coach, Coach Harris, played a huge role in just making sure. And he's got, good family around him. And then plus, everything that, Coach Brown and the school had done for him, people, he saw that people were fighting for him that helped him, stay in the moment for eventually it worked out for him last week.
Jeremiah.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, Mac was talking about some of the true freshman wide receivers and finding different things they can do. I think he said 5 plays that each of those guys could kind of do to, stay involved. What does that look like? Kind of looking at some of their abilities, the things they can do, and just ensuring, I guess, that they can, have something whenever their name is called to kind of get in there.
Just cutting down on not the whole game plan for them. Basically, that's what Coach was talking about, because they are talented guys, and they put work in, and just trying to be able to put them in the right situation. So, maybe not the whole playbook when we're going into the game, but picking out 4 or 5 things that they do well, and if they have to go, they have to go. That was the whole plan. Before Tez got back. That the young guys were going to have to step in and play. So it's a long season. You never know when something's going to happen to where they have to be ready.
And then just the development of some of those younger freshman wide receivers, even maybe some of the redshirt freshmen. I know obviously, some guys came in already in the spring, and maybe a few in the fall. But how would you kind of assess their growth, and what ways have you seen their games kind of grow since you first saw them as freshmen?
Just picking up on the play itself. There's a where'd you go? Okay, there's a whole lot of we signal, stuff from the sideline, being able to translate that from the sideline to lining up, especially when we're playing fast, and, less mistakes that way. And, them just competing. I mean, every day you have to compete, to play. I mean, and that's the biggest thing is, for young guys, you're the best players, on your teams in high school, but when you go to a place like this, and there's great players here. So, just finding your role. And I tell them all, and Coach Brown tells them all, the biggest thing, the fastest way to get on the field is coming in, competing on the special teams. There's, if you punt 5 times, if you're scoring touchdowns, you're kicking off, kickoff return team, find your way, and then find your way onto the field. So, special teams first, and then find your way on the field by, just being ready, knowing the playbook and those things like that.
Shelby.
Hi, Coach. Wanted to ask a name that I think was brought up briefly earlier, but about J.J. Jones. Somebody that we spoke to after the Pitt game has really kind of stepped into his almost niche this season. What do you think his impact has been in the wide receiver core?
I mean, just huge. I mean, JJ is a very hard worker. Comes in, works hard in practice. He flashed some last year. Now he's a force to be reckoned with. He's big, long to run, has made plays, made catches. Drake's, Drake depends on him to make plays, and very proud of JJ and the way that he approaches practice and the way that he approaches the game.
All right, last couple for Coach. Tommy.
Lonnie, Shelby kind of hit on JJ. I was going to ask about him, but just Mac talked about on Monday, the depth is finally to the point where guys have to play well or they're not going to play. Just how does that play into your wide receiver room? Guys being forced to step up and be good or great to be able to get on the field.
I mean, that's just the thing for me, is just approaching practice like it is a game. I mean, you can't come out and make mistakes and drop balls and not give effort. I mean, and Coach tells them all the time that, there's 2 things you can control, and that's your attitude and your effort. So, I mean, you want guys to compete hard, because once you get to the game, it should be easier. You've seen all the looks. You've studied. I mean, if you're studying film, studying the DBs, who you're going to go against. I mean, and then once you get in the game, you already know, all right, this is the coverage that they play when we're in this formation. So it brings it out, and I challenge them every day. I can fix technique. I can't fix your effort, and I can't fix your attitude. So that's the way that you should come out and approach it. I mean, and that's fair. In my opinion, that's fair. I mean, you got 5 receivers in the league. You know, we're blessed to be able to have more than that. So, you know, the best ones play, the best ones that compete, you know, with anything.
Shelby, do you have a follow-up?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was just gonna ask, Coach Brown was saying that he kind of expects Miami to come into this game with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, given how the last game panned out. What are you expecting against the Hurricanes on Saturday?
I mean, Miami's a great team. They had a big win when they first season started. I mean, we expect Miami, you know, fast, big, athletic, coached very well. You know, we expect them to come in here and compete hard. I mean, they're you know, they're coached very well. They do a good job. You know, they're athletic. We expect, you know, Miami. I mean, they had a little setback last week, but we expect Miami to come in here and compete like they've always done.
Adam, wrap us up.
Lonnie, sort of along the lines of the depth, when's the last time you saw or you had a receiver room that was this talented and deep, just all the guys you have?
Maybe, I mean, probably one of the years I was at West Virginia, and, you know, maybe the second year when I was at Louisville when we had Lamar, you know, just, I mean, it's you know, coach tells us all the time, you're responsible for your room in recruiting. So, you know, just try to go out and find the best players that fit this place, and they want to compete.
It just, I mean, just to end it, I was wondering, like, you've been in this game a long time.
Are you saying I'm old, Adam?
I think we're the same age about. You might have me by a few years. No, I just wondering, like, I mean, do you want to be a head coach one day or an offensive coordinator? Is that something you aspire to do?
I mean, I would like to, you know, I would like to be, you know, it just right. That, I mean, all about that is just the right place, right fit. So, yes, I mean, you know, you get into this to be able to want to lead men, and but you just have to be given an opportunity.
So head coach at Eden Moorhead, right?
Yeah. I don't know if my wife would move back to Eden, and I went to Rockingham though.
That's my bad. My bad. I messed up.
Cool.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thank
Thank y'all. All right.